you doing?
Man, I got some mess.
You sure do.
Holy smokes.
That's a major mess.
Show them that thing.
That was the culprit that made all the mess.
Yes, it's a very dirty thing. Anyway, folks, this is going to be a bit of a tech tip for you. So, here's the problem. Truck comes in yesterday with a major oil leak. There is two oil cooler lines that go up to the oil filter adapter, and the filter screws on. Easy peasy fix. Remove it all, replace, which I did. When I was backing up the truck, I noticed a small hesitation, but I said, the customer didn't complain about it, and the brake pedal was very low. But we know the customer, and the customer knew about the brake pedal being low, so I said, what the heck, won't bother with it. So I said, I'll bring it in, I'll just bleed the brake. So anyway, I bled the brake. I got it a little bit better. So anyway, he came and he picked it up, and I said to him, your brake pedal is low. He said, well, what do you think it is? Because it's got four-wheel anti-lock brakes. And I said, well, I didn't really look into it very much, but I said, I did bleed it. I said, it could be a master cylinder. Well, I had it to another shop last year when you weren't around. They put a master cylinder on it, and the brake pedal was still low, really low. He said, so much, in fact, he said that when I would push on the brake light indicator in the dash would come on. I said, well, that's not very good. So, brought it back in today. We noticed it had a wheel cylinder on the left rear wheel. It was just starting to leak. So, then I looked at the brake shoes, and I said, boy, they're kind of looking a bit black. So, I said, I'll replace those. And whoever worked on it before put one new drum on one side and left this ugly bugger of a drum on the left side. And I said, I'm going to put a new drum on it. I'm going to take all the hardware off. I'm going to put them in the sandblaster, clean it all up, and put it back where it's all like new. Of course, we still had a low brake, which we've never really done anything to cure that problem. So anyway, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, if the other shop put a master cylinder on it, did they bench bleed the master cylinder first? So that's always in the back of my mind. So I didn't really want to take it off. So we tried manually bleeding it, and no, couldn't get it. Now, there's a number of ways that you can bleed a brake system. You can, if you've got yourself a Kathy like I got, you can get her to sit aboard the machine and pump the brake. Now, when you're pumping the brake, you cannot pump the brake fast. It has to be pumped very slow. And the reason why you pump it slow is so that you don't cause the fluid to foam. If you look in the reservoir and you see the fluid looks cloudy, it's because there's air bubbles in the fluid and you're never going to get it out. You've got to let it sit for an hour or so. So I know most people will use to get your buddy or your wife in the cab and pump the brake. Really not the right way. There's another way you can do it. You can use a system like this for vacuum pumping it. Not real fancy about that either, not real fussy about it. That's okay for a motorcycle. People use them, and some people have good luck with them. This truck would not be fixed today only for this. This is a Wagner bladder system. And what it is down here is a diaphragm, up here is fluid. And you hook up things like this. There's a lot of adapters for this system. You hook these up to the master cylinder, and you can put, like in this case, I put 25 pound, you can go up to 50 pound. And we basically pressure bled it with 25 pounds pressure on the line. Being a GM, we had these to close off the switch valves, and man, we ran it through. And the only place that we got air, and we got a lot of it, was on the right rear wheel. And I said to Kathy, I said, you should see the air coming out of this. And when we closed it off, we got in, and the brakes are absolutely like new. So if anybody's out there and they got a clutch that can't bleed properly, or if they got a brake system that can't bleed properly, you might want to go and see if you can borrow one of these. They're quite expensive to buy, so it's not for everybody. The disadvantage to owning one is you're spending a lot of money on them you don't use all the time. Plus the fact is you fill them up with fluid, and fluid is susceptible to moisture, especially brake fluid. If you've got an open can of brake fluid and you got it for longer than a couple of months, I discard it. I don't use it. You can probably help it by keeping it in a warm, dry place. You'll get a little bit more longevity out of it. There's a pen that you can get to put down in the fluid I've showed you before, and it can read the moisture content. You should get yourself one of them. But this is the baby. So the disadvantage to having it is the fact that you got to drain the oil out of it every few months if you don't use it. And the advantage is you'll be able to fix a customer's truck that's been to another garage 2 or 3 times that's never been right. Now when the customer picks it up, he'll be quite happy to have a nice high brake and a safe vehicle to drive. So that's our tech tip for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. God bless.